Hello everybody, Edgar Fernandez again from Pharma-Chemical Safety Limited, located in Brantford, Ontario, Canada. The topic that I want to um, discuss today is risk-based process safety applied in the ICH-Q10 pharmaceutical quality system. The objective of this video that I want to achieve with you, with my audience, it's to help the industry on how to use risk-based process safety uh, management into the existing pharmaceutical quality system. And as we know, the ICH-Q10 describes one comprehensive model for an effective pharmaceutical quality system. That is based on an international standard organization, ISO. So we know ISO 9001, ISO 40001 for environmental, and now OSHA's 18001, that is safety management systems. But also this ICH-Q10 includes applicable good manufacturing practices. Obviously, we are talking about pharmaceutical and food industry. And also involves ICH-Q8 pharmaceutical development and ICH-Q9. That is very important. In the past weeks, I shared a video regarding on this topic, ICH-Q9, how we can apply fundamentals knowledge from the risk-based process safety that can help to have a very comprehensive one lean system regarding on quality risk management. So that's very important. You have the opportunity to see the video. Watch it. It's very comprehensive, and then I explain how to relate what we need to do to match both systems, ICH-Q9 and process safety. At the end, they have the same parameters. They have the same fundamentals. Actually, I believe that ICH-Q9. The people who develop this standard, I think they study process safety before, and they bring those concepts to design and create this standard Q9. So it's you have opportunity. You can watch it on my YouTube channel or at YouTube / Pharma-Chemical Safety. So much of this content about the ICH-Q9, it's applicable to the manufacturing sites. It's currently specified by regional GMP requirements. So also ICH-Q7 is applicable, and actually that's the first standard that needs to be applicable, and that's the first standard that people who are working in the industry needs to have a lot of knowledge on this standard. So I want to give you a brief description of the risk-based process safety. So this it's well known as RVPS. So they have the commitment to process. So how the company it's gonna commit to process. So what policies you have, and what's the type of commitment you have, how you communicate that commitment to the rest of the company, and you need to make sure that that commitment it's followed. The second pillar is understanding the hazard and risks. So you have two activities to perform there to develop a lot of it's not develop, it's analyzing a lot of information, and then how you're gonna conduct process hazard analysis, what methodology you're gonna use. There are few methodologies, not all of them that are applicable for all situations. So it's something that needs to be defined. It's something that people need to be trained, have experience. That's the most important in managing these type of systems before putting some people matching both systems actually. So the knowledge needs to be there, and so we need to have a good experience, good knowledge on how we manage this information. Managing the risk, you can see there are few activities, few sub-pillars that we need to be aware, and how we wanna what type of information is required from each one of those sub pillars. And learning from experience, the same. It's one of the most important pillars, and actually it's going to help you to do ICH-Q10 as well, such as incident investigations, audits, etc. So also you need to have people trained on that. Some of them, they're asking to be certified as an auditor, for example. Training on incident investigation. So it's a facilitator, or you're going to participate. You need to have training in you, doesn't matter if you're not a facilitator. You need to have the basic knowledge of this type of incident investigation systems, for example, and needs to be trained. So another important aspect of your success on implementation or matching both systems is what is your training program. And you need to define what you're going to include in that training, and who's going to be participating, and how it's going to be the impact, what impact you're going to have, what value. The ICH-Q10 has two enablers. It's knowledge management and quality risk management. And both quality risk management, it can provide, actually the goal is to provide a proactive approach to identify, that's very important, scientifically evaluating and controlling potential risks to quality. That is the same for process safety. So you're going to evaluate, you're going to identify through a methodology, a scientific methodology, how you're going to control your hazards, identify and control your hazards and their potential risks, and what type of measurements you're going to implement or provide or prescribe to reduce that risk ranking. So it's the same for quality risk management. That is ICH-Q9. So like I said, you watch my video on the that on my YouTube channel. YouTube/ quality pharmaceutical pharma-chemical safety. I apologize, and then you can watch how I recommend to use that knowledge from risk-based process safety to ICH-Q9. From knowledge management, it's the same. It's you're gonna have a very systematic approach that's gonna create knowledge, and how you're gonna manage that knowledge from development through the commercial life of the product. That is escalating and doing experiments and escalating the experiments to a commercial or industrial production. So the same, you need to acquire and analyzing, disseminate information that's gonna provide the knowledge to your process. And that's the same, and actually process safety, the safety, you know this, the hazards and risk of your process that can generate or be a trigger for having incidents such as flash fires, explosions, etc. That's part is knowledge management. It's part of your process. So that knowledge needs to be there. And something that I'm gonna talk later. One of the problems that I'm seeing during process hazard analysis, that it's you have the right people, actually, because the process engineer, the tech transfer people, or sometimes people from R&D are sitting there, so they can answer questions from quality. And those questions, believe me, they come up during the process hazard analysis sessions. And then one of the mistakes we made, we say that is not from the safety standpoint of view. So what happened here? So you are missing the opportunity to identify. Once is you identify that it's a quality problem, but the most important, you are missing the opportunity to provide or prescribe corrective actions to mitigate the risk of that event, of that quality hazard. And the third, the value that you're gonna add is you're gonna have everything in one document. And believe me, those questions, they come up in the same session. So at the end, you have your right questions on your on your process hazard analysis. Those questions are gonna come up. But um, uh, but it's something that it's a common mistake, and it's not a mistake from people from the company. It's the way that actually the systems are designed, because also you see, but this standard, the ICH-Q10, actually is the standard I'm seeing that is bringing other standards from ICH. So you need to master ICH-Q9, you need to master ICH-Q8 and Q7 to have the Q10 completed. That's good. So you have one system, but also if we have a safety management system, that's a different approach that we always choose, and that makes a different entity of the organization. So having two complex systems at the same time, that's the reason why companies, they see this type of systems very complicated to implement, and it is not complicated. It's only we need to start. What we need to do is start inserting these elements, these common elements. So obviously, I'm gonna give you one element that is not common: confined space. That's safety, and that during the process hazard analysis needs to be analyzed as safety. There is nothing regarding on quality, because that could maybe is going to be maintenance, but having an agitator that stops during the reaction, maybe for safety doesn't, I mean, it's not, it's a, they call a not risk or not hazard identified at the moment, but for the quality standpoint of view, maybe your reaction is going to suffer. Maybe the efficiency is going to be affected. So it's those type of questions, they come up to the during the sessions, and they need to be. I think it's an opportunity to answer, and it's an opportunity to decrease defects and decrease CAPAs, especially CAs, corrective actions, right? So because you are predicting during the hazard assessment. That's something that is very important. So the four elements that this standard has, it's one is the product performance. Well, the standard says that we need to, or we should plan and execute a system for monitoring processes performance and product quality to ensure the state of control that is maintained. But actually, this statement has a lot of to think about it. We see it's a monitoring process. So how we want to monitor the process? So now that it's another pillar that is come up to the game, that is commit to process. So how we want to measure the process? How we want to measure that we having success, we are achieving success or not? To ensure the state of control is maintained. So it's knowledge as well. How we are making sure that is controlled. If we have the right procedures in place, we have the right training in place, the right coaching in place. So there are all elements that can be brought from the risk-based process safety. So the knowledge from your safety of the process is very important. So I'm gonna give you an example. So how you gonna prevent or ensure that the state of control is maintained? Or if during the process rupture disc is blown out consistently. On that part, actually, you are not maintaining control. So every time you need to write down a deviation, you need to investigate that deviation, and you need to come up with a corrective action and preventive action. That is one and is another element of the of this standard. And actually, what is CAPA? So but it's a system for implementing corrective actions and preventive actions resulting from investigations of complaints or product rejections or non-conformant recalls, etc. Deviations audits, for example, regulatory inspections and findings and trends from processes performance. So there's another definition here that is very important. Have keywords. From if we want to match both no conformances. So would say we're gonna match a definition that is no conformance on the quality and the process safety. Well, no conformance is having an incident, having the same incident in 4 batches, having the incident. So you have a campaign, a production campaign for a specific product, and then 6 months later you have another campaign and you're having the same incident. So you are not but you are not follow you don't, that shows that you're not having a systematic approach to prevent that. That is asking you from the first element, that it's to have how you're going to measure the process performance, how you're going to maintain the control, that needs to be shown up to the regulatory agencies. So now how you're going to communicate your investigations, what type of how you are monitoring and your implementation of corrective actions and preventive actions. So that is not non-conformance from both sides, because now blowing out on a rupture disk, you have two consequences. Well, depending what is inside of that reactor, so you have a very toxic gas. So the non-conformance is going to be that you can kill somebody, or you can exceed the occupational exposure limit. That if you have a respirator with two cartridge, you're going to exceed the concentration that those cartridges can handle, and then that toxic gas can go through the mask for sure. And from the non-conformance from quality, it's now you need to stop the process. You need to create another deviation, and you need to do another investigation. From the same reason, after 2-3 campaigns, that can happen. So that's the reason why it's very important to match these two. And that's an example that I'm giving you. Maybe it's a very exaggerated example, but think about it. I think it can happen. If not maybe 4 or 5 batches, but at least can happen in two production campaigns. Why we are having the same type of incidents. So it's something that we need to start considering having on the same. So that's the reason why we need to match both systems, to have the same knowledge in the same location available, and that knowledge should be communicated, and is the common knowledge for everybody, for operators, for managers, for supervisors, for directors, for VPs, etc. The another element, it's a change management system. That is the third element of this policy. So change management is very important in process safety as well. Why? Because how you gonna identify hazards when you add something new, or you are modifying something that exists already. So I would say if you are changing a rupture disk for a safety relief valve, that it's okay, but how you gonna calibrate the safety relief valve? What is the maintenance program on that safety relief valve? So what is the system that you need to install to a safety relief valve? Maybe sometimes you install two. One is the pressure that you need to be actuated, but you add another one before, if you want to avoid that rupture, that blowout that goes to the atmosphere. If your safety relief valve, you are piping that to the atmosphere. So there are a lot of elements, a lot of things that you need to consider during that management of change. But how we can discover that? Well, there is a process on the management of change from process safety management. They call PSSR, pre-start safety reviews, and actually it's something that you need to consider how you're gonna insert that process safety, the pre-start safety review in your current change management of change for quality. That I think there should be, because you're having the same incident on the and on your batch, is gonna be another deviation, and I can give you many examples. Increasing the temperature, reading the values on your automation system. How I'm gonna give you something. How your automation system works. Have you done a risk analysis? If you have an alarm, how the operator needs to act. You have a warning alarm, or you have an alarm that is gonna act something on your process, about to closed, agitator to stop. So when needs to be done, how you gonna act in that type of scenarios. So it's something that you can discover actually, and you should discuss during your change management, when you bring new equipment, new processes, or you're gonna modify the existing equipment or existing process. So I think that's a prime example on this element, that both systems can coexist. And actually, you have another element is management review. So it's provide the process, performance, and product quality are managed over the life cycle. So how you gonna measure that? That's another thing. Through indicators, lagging and leading indicators. So what is a lagging and leading indicator? Many people mention that, but really there is a true knowledge of what is a lagging, what is a leading indicator, what is a transformational indicator. So many times you leave it in the leading indicators, but what is the value to transform that? And it's something that needs to be measured. Um, and that is something that FDA is going to ask. It's not going to ask about the transformational indicators, but for sure it's going to ask, okay, in certain situations, how you measure these, how you measure that your process, your management is effective, and how do you, I mean, what do you do in terms of when you discover that is an inefficiency, or a gap in your system, or deviation in your system, you want to call it with the proper word. So it's something that needs to be discussed, needs to be managed, and needs to be established. The system needs to be established how we want to review these. So the standard has on top of that has management responsibilities. That is part of the also from risk-based process safety. It's committed to the process. So they need to be responsible for manager, from CEOs, VPs, presidents, directors, managers, supervisors, and workers. What are the responsibilities we have regarding on these systems? And you remember, it's a teamwork, and everybody has a responsibility, a duty to, or a task to perform in a scientific and approachable manner for to be success on this type of systems. So they have four pillars. Pretty much is the same as the risk-based process safety. You have pharmaceutical development. So when I said the same on the process safety, they have four. So the pharmaceutical development is the first one. Is to develop develop the activities to design a product and its manufacturing processes to consistently deliver the intended performance and meet the needs of the patients. Well, if you are designing as a product and its manufacturing process, so why not start thinking about process safety? Why do we need to have another meeting? No, no, you don't need that. You don't need to complicate. You don't need to have two entities. You can have everything in the same document, in the same process. There is no need to have another meeting. So you can match those questions as well. So you can have a very multidisciplinary team that can develop this type of documentation if they have the right knowledge, the right experience, and they have been trained. That's very important because I can say here that is we can do that, but also it's a responsibility of the company to get the people trained, to have the experience, and to have the knowledge of the process. So remember, we need a competent people, and that when I'm seeing this is you notice I described three things: is you need to have trained, you need to have the experience, you need to have the knowledge, and you need to know the hazards and the risk of your process. That's the definition of competent, at least in Canada, for in Ontario for the OHS Act and regulation, and if your pharmaceutical food company is located in Alberta or on BC, you need to check what is the definition of competency, and pretty much all those definitions are the same. Different words, but are the same. So we need to make sure the competency is there. So that's the development of the pharmaceutical, and then you don't need to have different meetings. To be honest with you, that's another point, another example that your system is going to be flexible. Technology transfer. So the goal of this element, this pillar, is to transfer product and process knowledge between development and manufacturing. So why not to have everything there? You're gonna know your process, know everything that is involved in your process, safety, environmental, quality, everything that is involved in your process, you're gonna have in the same document. So that's another example. Commercial manufacturing. So what is the goal of this pillar? Is it's include The activities include achieving product realization and establishing and maintaining a stable control and facilitating continual improvement. I know that's the definition is right there. So you need to establish, maintain a state of control. So you insert elements from risk-based process safety and some environmental knowledge as well. So what can happen if you have a spill, etc. That pretty much the process safety um, gives you that. I forgot to mention that. So process safety is from those from two point of views. It's from the process safety that you can jeopardize the property and the society around, pretty much the public or the safety. And another one is you can jeopardize the environment as well. So either way, you need to have the process safety. You can find in the United States, you can find during APA 60. It's a 48 CFR 69, I think, and obviously the 1910.119 from OSHA. In Canada, so actually you have from different standards. So and each province has different standards, and it's and from Environment Canada the same. But this is not new for companies that they are under sustainability systems. So the companies, the chemical companies, they call themselves sustainable. So they have all these processes, all they match, or they try to match those ones to have a sustainable process, very flexible process, common knowledge that everybody can access and know their part. The worker knows their part. The director knows their part as well. Managers, etc. So how we want to maintain that? Measuring, um, discussing incident investigations, make sure that CAPAs are implemented in the right way, having multidisciplinary teams, etc., etc. There are many activities there that need to be discussed. They need to be planned. They need to what information is going to generate having those type of activities, and that's the value, the flexibility and common knowledge. And product discontinuation, that's another pillar. Is the what activities as to manage the terminal stage of the product life cycle effectively. Well, here the process safety. So one of the requirements from process safety, especially from process hazard analysis, once you don't have the process in your facility, so actually the PHA can be disposed, I mean destroyed. But if you have actually all PHAs, all process hazard analysis, all those documents, they need to you conduct PHAs for in the first year and then after 5 years according to the regulation. So the first you need to keep the first and the second. So you get to keep all the sessions registered could be in archive files, etc. But you need to have all of those. That's a requirement. So once you discontinue the process, so all those files they can go to the destruction. But make sure that that process is not going to come back to your facility. It is going to come back to your facility. Don't destroy anything. Keep it there, and then you're going to be fine. On this slide, shows or illustrates the how both systems can coexist. So from the pharmaceutical development, that is ICH-Q10. So the circle that is colored is ICH-Q10. So the element is now the element from process safety. It's you need to comply with safety regulations, standards, and codes, and comply with current GMPs. For the technology transfer or transfer technology, you need to understand the hazard and risk. And from the commercial manufacturing is managing the risk. That's the whole pillar. And product discontinuation is demonstrate effectiveness. So also on the commercial manufacturing, you can add learning from experience pillar as well. So that's the type of knowledge you're gonna insert on your system to have one management system that is gonna give you more flexibility. The value of this flexibility is gonna give you more knowledge. You're gonna take everything. You're gonna take all the uh, point of views and all the sides of your of your process, right? So you're gonna see your process from the safety standpoint of view, from the environmental standpoint of view, from the production standpoint of view, in one system, in one document. So that's part managing the risk. Like I said, how you're gonna manage your changes, management of change, but also you're gonna add the pre-start safety review. One of the questions that can come up actually from during these discussions, right, and something that I'm seeing, I have found actually, is, well, PSSR is not part of the FDA. Why we need to include it? And then okay, so actually, so your quality assurance department should have that experience to say, okay, we include in the same document, and we make clear that this part is not it's not under the FDA covered, and it's not. So FDA is not gonna ask you or audit your system from the safety standpoint of view, and it's something that I found, believe it or not, that type of answers. So people believe, oh, because I'm good in FDA, I'm good in safety. No, no, not really, because FDA is CGMPs. It's making sure that your product, that is your medication, goes, is not gonna jeopardize the safety of the patient. But it's not, if you blow out a rupture disc, it's not, he doesn't have a concern of that. From the blowout, maybe from the deviation, yeah, he's gonna ask, okay, what happened, right? You record, you investigate, etc. for sure. But it's not gonna say, oh, you blow out a rupture disc, I'm gonna fine you. I'm gonna charge you, right, with fines and everything. No, it's not gonna happen. But OSHA, or the Minister of Labor in Canada, they can do that for sure, because that's a safety. But you can include it. You can make the both system coexist. Absolutely, you can do it. So that's one of the discussions actually you can find during this type of meetings. And actually, there are discussions that really these type of questions they need to answer easily. Um, you have the people. I mean, you people really know CGMPs and how they interact with the FDA. That's very important. But there is not a problem to add PSSRs, for example, in management of change systems from the CGMP standpoint of view. Actually, you are robust in your system and you can do it. Why you're gonna have two procedures? So that is gonna be confused. That is gonna people is gonna forget, and actually nobody's gonna follow that. And then you're gonna start having a lot of incidents. And well, not a lot of incidents. That's my mistake. You're gonna start having incidents for sure. Because you don't control you're not managing your changes properly from the safety standpoint of view, because now you have two very complicated systems. And you as a company, you don't deserve that. And then now here on the elements, well, you have the four elements from ICH-Q10, and the pillars from risk-based process safety. So on process performance is understanding the risk, management of change, managing the risk, management review is commit to the process, and CAPA is learning from the experience. So that graphic that I show on the second slide is pretty much that can be inserted on ICH-Q10. As you as you could see during this presentation, I think it's very easy. It's possible to make both systems coexist and achieving a lot of results, and having a, like I said, very flexible system, having a common knowledge of your process that everybody knows, understand, and is able to and they are able to find it and is updated. is a living system as well. And then also you're gonna have having this interdisciplinary system. You're gonna start having a lot of engaging from different departments. That is gonna enrich your system. Is gonna the value you're gonna add is creativity, knowledge, and that's very powerful in our industry, more than technology. You're gonna create a good work environment as well. That's the benefits of this, and because nowadays it's hard to find talented people that wants to work with you for a long time. That's the reality of the market right now, and I think it's gonna be the reality in the future. So having this type of work environments is gonna help the company a lot. And some companies in the industry, and a few of them, they have started thinking about this, and having one system, one management system, one culture. We Because you hear a lot many times, we have a good safety system. Okay, so how you gonna prove that? Um, and it's for your own benefit, not for the benefit of the consultant or for the benefit of somebody who's visiting your company. So one of the things remember is it's very easy to, and it's clear, right? You have happy people inside, you're gonna have happy customers. You have happy people inside, you're gonna suffer a lot. You're gonna suffer, people is gonna start leaving the company, because the problem is the creativity. And this type of the thing that I'm telling you is very connected with this type of processes. So once you start making your process safer, good quality, so now you're gonna start having this creativity, this knowledge that people is gonna feel engaged. Is gonna feel that they are being listened to, that their ideas are taken in consideration, and that's gonna give you a lot of advantage as from your competitors. So I hope that this video helps the industry, the community outside. Um, because currently, right now, the situation is having two systems separated, especially the nature of these two management systems, are for sure they are complicated. They are hard to manage. So now you manage one, imagine manage three of this complexity, but you have one is way better, way easier, and everybody is gonna have the same knowledge. So that's the reason why I'm proposing to have one management system instead of three. That is gonna make actually having one is gonna bring to the company more cohesion between people, and you're gonna eliminate the competency of what is important: production or safety, production or environment. Um, no, not even. But with environment is different because environment is regulated by the federal government, so the fines they can be high, and that's the reason environment doesn't have that problem as a safety. But you manage one, yeah, your safety is going to improve for sure, and yeah, you're gonna see the results little by little. Takes time. Another thing that I'm seeing, taking shortcuts is not the right way to do it. You need to understand that these things take time. One is implemented, what is people is trained. Your process is administrative processing. I'm talking about is gonna go faster and faster and faster because it's more flexible. Knowledge is there, creativity is there. So hopefully you have enjoyed this video. You want to discuss this topic with me, having more information, yeah, don't hesitate to contact me at Edgar Fernandez at pharma-chemicalsafety.com. And or visit my webpage is pharma-chemicalsafety.com. My YouTube channel is YouTube/pharmachemicalsafety, and thank you very much for dedicating your time on listening to this video, and have a nice day. Bye.